How's it going, everybody? John from Army of Bulldogs here. I know what you're thinking. Dude, you still do reviews? I do, but been buried by other stuff. Haven't gotten around to it in a long time, and I just wanted to get my top 10 of the year out, show everybody what I've been listening to, and if there's something on the list that you're like, man, that doesn't go there, or you think there's something I missed, please put in the comments down below. I'll check it out. But I won't waste your time. These aren't going to be full reviews that I usually do. This is going to be just a few bullet points about the records that came out this year that I loved. Number 10, I'm going to start right into it. Number 10, Booze and Glory, As Bold as Brass. This came out very early in the year. I rather liked it. I don't listen to a lot of Oi, but I do like Oi, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's why it's so far back. But it is a great record. If you like skinhead music, if you like Oi, these guys, you look at them, you're like, yeah, they look like they're real working class guys. And they write great songs, and they have a great sound. And their newer record has a little bit more production. If you're new to the band, I recommend listening to that one first, because it is better produced, which doesn't mean an album is better or worse. It just means it's better produced. So check them out. And I'm sure I'm going to check out their earlier records a lot more later on. Number 9. This is a biased pick, and I'm going to get backlash for that maybe, but it's a band called Cry Havoc. They're out of New Britain, Connecticut, and the album is And Let Slip the Dogs of War. This album is an album my friends made, but it is so good. I'd love it even if it wasn't made by my friends. It's just pure hardcore in the vein of 7 Seconds and Minor Threat and stuff like that. And, part of me, that isn't my favorite genre of music, but part of me always loved that style, and seeing them live is incredible. And these guys really bust their ass, and, I appreciate it. And also I contributed to the Kickstarter to make this record come out, to help it get released. And I did gang rules on it. Again, I'm very biased. I'm sorry. I love my brothers from Connecticut, and I'm glad this record got produced, and I'm glad that it's this good. There's 17 songs on it. Some of them are from an old split they did, but they're all very good. And the messages of the songs are everything from frustration and anger to hope. And I think that's cool, because a lot of the stuff in Cry Havoc's past has been kind of really negative, but there is some great stuff on here. And it will kind of leave you, especially the last song, We Were. It's about the scene, and it's about being together, and it's about all that great stuff that a million songs have been written about, but they do it in their own way, and it's great. So that's number 9. Number 8, this is a band that most of you probably haven't heard of, but they are very good. And I actually saw them, ironically, opening for a band they sound a lot like. This is 2.8's From Wires. They're from Sweden, I think, or Finland. It's either Sweden or Finland. But, yeah. Like I said, they sound a lot like Gaslight Anthem, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I remember this band popped up a few years ago. They had a song called Red Eyes, and I actually didn't realize that they were the band that sang that song until they played it when I saw them opening for Gaslight Anthem and Against Me. But, it's a good release. I actually won this album on a bet, which I won't get into the details of that. But, it's got some great songs on it. It got some so-so songs. But it definitely was good enough to make this album of the year list, because it's here. But, like I said, it sounds a lot like early Gaslight Anthems. If you dig them, check it out. Clearly, I have to listen to this album a little bit more, but it just came out, so I haven't really gotten around to it. But, it's good. You should go check it out. Another kind of out of nowhere pick is another band that I discovered this year is coming in at number 7 is Sprainard with the Mark, Tom, and Patrick Show. This band's from Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is also where CKY is from, which they sound nothing like CKY. But this is a very unique album. It has a great, kind of posy-core feeling. Definitely got that. It sounds like it's definitely in a basement with, 20 guys constantly jumping towards the stage sound to it. And got a lot of inside references, and I'm sure jokes that only people in the band would understand kind of material. And also they did something really weird, which is the second to last track of this album is just 15 minutes of them recording live in a basement. And I believe this is technically a compilation of previously released material that they just put together, because they had a weird history where they were around for a while, then they broke up, and then they got back together, and stuff like that. But now it's out. This is out on Asian Man, so they're always a great label. And I hope you like it as much as I did, because it definitely was a refreshing kind of new sound. I saw them open for the Menzingers, and they had fans. People were going crazy. Like I said, a lot of people jumping to the stage. So it was really cool, and I'm glad that this album exists, and I'm going to listen to it more in the future. And I can't wait to see what they do in the future, because hopefully they will have a bright future. Okay, now back to a band that actually we do all know and love. It's Rancid. Rancid had a new album out this year. I know we all had a lot of anticipation, as we usually do with these albums. Well, if you're a Rancid fan. I think I've only reviewed one Rancid album before, and it was Out Come the Wolves. This one's a gatefold, which the picture is really cool. It's kind of hard to see like that, but it's the whole band in the crowd, and it's just awesome. I saw Rancid last year. They still kill it. In my opinion, they're top 5 best live bands I've ever seen. But the whole question is, every time they release a record, every time a band that's been around forever releases a record, you want to know, but is it any good? Well, it is. It is definitely really good. I enjoy it. It sounds like they've kind of stuck to their old sound a little bit. Definitely branching out a little bit too into the reggae and ska stuff that we all seem to think is unique and different for them and really enjoy. So if you're into that, which I definitely am. I like when they try and do different things. I like when they try and come out and say, hey, we're not just going to be the same band we were when we released Let's Go, which, a lot of people can bitch and moan that that's not what they like about this band, but, don't listen to those songs. It's that simple. And, so, yeah, Rancid came out with a record, and it was good. And I like it better than Let the Dominoes Fall. I wouldn't say it's up there with the caliber of their previous records, but this isn't a comparison, but it's just impossible to, bring up a band that's so storied without bringing up their previous releases. But that came in at number 6. Number 5, also not a physical copy of. Also a band I discovered this year, and also a band that's very unique, and it is Joyce Manor's Never Hungover Again. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of this, like I said, but it is just such a unique record because it's only like 21 minutes long or something like that, and every song on it's good. I like every song on it, but I think it's only 5th because it's 10 songs so fast that it's like I want more. It sounds like an EP almost. That isn't a bad thing though, but short and sweet and to the point is what you want. And I know Joyce Manor got caught up in that whole overblown stage diving thing this year, but I'm not gonna get wrapped up in that. This is about music. This is about politics. And you can go ahead and shit on me for, supporting the anti-stage dive guy, even though he's not even that. It's just a whole bunch of crap. But the album's great, and the songs are good, and it's unique and different, and has, just this unique sound. You hear a Joyce Manor sound, it sounds like a Joyce Manor song. And it's really rare that you have that kind of identifiability with a band. But definitely pick up that record if you want to hear something different, because that's what it was to me. It was a buddy going, hey, listen to that record if you have 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes. You can't take 20 minutes to listen to a whole album. Go for it. Okay, number 4. Another local band, definitely different in style though, is Drug Shock. This band is from New Haven. It is members of a few other bands, which I'm going to hate myself for not remembering that, but mainly, it's Todd from Copyright Chaos, the singer's other band. If you know who Copyright Chaos are, they were like a very important band in the old chaos punk, CT punk rock scene. Anyone from the Connecticut, the New England area knows what I'm talking about, hopefully. But this band does not sound like Copyright Chaos. They sound like a mix between a street punk band and a UK 77 band, and they got a lot of, you can hear the influence, but they're definitely very unique. And you can tell just in the artwork and everything about them, it just screams like old school, early 80s street punk vibe. And, it's got a little bit of oi, it's got a little bit of, metal to it. It's got a little bit of everything, and it's great. And I really enjoyed it. It got a lot of plays from this year. It's got everything from songs about the scene to, songs about politics, which is something that I love. And, it's just, you put this on, you're like, the riffs are great, the lyrics are identifiable, it's fun to listen to, and it just gives you that great punk rock feel, like this is a punk rock album. And I'm the type of guy who often, gets sick of that, but this album doesn't make me get sick of it. I listen to it all the time, and it's great. And again, it was released by people I know, but, that doesn't make it good or bad. It makes it what it is, and what it is great. Okay, top three. This is where we're really getting down to the nitty gritty. And this album is, again, a band I'd never heard of. A band who almost nobody had ever heard of unless you were living somewhere in Ontario and knew the guys. It's Pup. There's no logo on the album, and that was done with charcoal, which is pretty impressive, but it's the most basic looking album ever. This one's signed. I went to a show and got signed. So again, another band that I saw open for the Menzingers, different show this time. But yeah, these guys basically came out of Canada and signed with Side One Dummy, a record company that I've given a lot of praise to over the years, and just released this killer 10-track album. Definitely out of nowhere, breakout artist of the year is what I'd vote them. Because, again, nobody had ever heard of them, and they just released this great album. And I'm so looking forward to what they're going to release in the future, because this is great. This is got a lot of cool influences, definitely some indie influence, a lot of great guitar playing, a lot of great instruments, and videos. They released the coolest videos. That's Pup, P-U-P, from Canada. And I cannot wait to see what this band does in the future, because they kill it live. Kill it. Like, open for the Menzingers and Lemuria, and we left that show saying, and it's no diss to Lemuria or the Menzingers, they were just saying, hey, how good was that band, Pup? Just unbelievable. Number 2. Okay. Now, everyone probably saw this coming if you've seen my reviews in the past or know who I am or, have ever looked into who I am. The Menzingers' Rented World. A band that I've supported, and obviously, because a couple bands on here were opening acts for them. But this album, it just fell into that band you love is releasing a new album. What if it sucks? It didn't suck, thankfully. This album, I'd put it as probably my third favorite they've ever released because their last two were so good that it's almost impossible to live up to those. And that's kind of the dilemma they found themselves in. It doesn't make it a bad record, though. Obviously, it got number 2. It was better than 7 other best albums of the year. Or 8, what am I saying? And, the songs are definitely within their vein. I mean, a little bit more branching out, but when they're played live, people go crazy, people jump up and down, and people... Well, they're definitely becoming one of the best live shows in the world. I've seen them so many times, and they never get old. They always kill it, and everyone goes crazy, and that's what a punk show should be. And 12 songs, there really isn't a bad song on here. And I think Tom sings a little bit more on this one, which that was my only complaint about on The Impossible Pass, is Tom isn't singing enough, and I love Tom's voice. I love Greg's voice, too, but it's just like, dude, they have 2 singers for a reason. Let Tom sing a little more. But it's, and I understand it's like, well, if he didn't write it, he's obviously not going to sing it, but just a lot of cool sounds going off this record, and it's just fun to listen to. I have a signed poster in my room, framed it up. I love this band. Again, I cannot say enough good things about the Menzingers. They are to me right now what the Menzingers, what Against Me and Off With Their Heads have been in the past. Just like that band that I listen to all the time, listen to album after album over and over again, and I never do that because I have ADD and I get sick of things really quickly. But this album was great, and it definitely deserved its spot. Okay. Number 1, I cannot emphasize enough how much all these albums are great, but in the scheme of things, they don't even compare to how much I love number 1. Everyone who knows anything about me is going to know what number 1 is going to be, because you know how much of a fan of the band I am and how dedicated and how they are my favorite band, and pretty much if they release an album, it's going to be number 1 because I love them so much. But for once, it's not my stupid opinion, my selfishness, because this album got so much praise and so much respect, and it was hyped so much, and when it finally released, everyone took a sigh and looked at it and went, wow, that's a masterpiece. And so I'm not the only one, but that album is Transgender Dysphoria Blues. This is an original tour pressing, and this is the picture disc from the tour. This is the pink one for Breast Cancer, and this one is signed by the entire band because they got to sign a meet and greet. I own 4 copies of this, and it's not because I'm a sneaky collector who's going to sell this one of these. It's because I love it so much and because I think it's cool. I saw Against Me 7 times this year. 3 times on one tour, 2 times on another, and then 1 earlier in the year. So, and then 1 more opening for somebody else, Gaslight Anthem. But Transgender Dysphoria Blues is a story. It's a coming out party. It's a celebration. It's an explanation. It is just what it should be. It is this woman bearing her soul about her life, about her transition, about her feelings, and it is done in such a digestible way that you could just totally look at her and understand. And obviously when Laura came out, I supported her 100% because why wouldn't I? I don't care. This is punk. It's about being who you are, and she was the ultimate example of being who you are. And I love her, and she's the nicest woman you'll ever meet, and I have all the respect in the world for her and this band. And this came out at a terminal time because Laura actually played bass on this album, except for on 2 songs where Fat Mike filled in. And Adam Willard joined as a drummer of Angels and Airways fame and other things, and he plays drums in the band now, and I've met him, and he's very nice. And a new member against me is in there, Inge Johansson. He actually signed it too. But it came at a weird time because 2 guys had left the band, and it was like, okay, what are they going to do? And I remember Laura saying in a post somewhere, like, yeah, after this album drops, I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. Like, but I don't think that's the case anymore. They've toured over 150 dates this year, which is incredible, and they've just been relentless. So it's pretty incredible. Just every song front to back is great. They're different, they're unique. There's some acoustic tracks, there's some fast tracks, there's a lot of slow tracks, but every lyric is beautiful, and every single moment of listening to this album for the first time. I remember we came home from a show, we had a pre-release tour copy, and I brought it home, and it was 1 in the morning, and I said, I don't care if people are sleeping, I'm putting it on the turntable. And we listened to it, and we all just looked at each other and knew we were listening to something special. Even though we'd kind of heard all the songs because we'd seen them done acoustically and we'd seen the band play a lot of them. But in the end, this is one of the greatest albums ever made. And it didn't disappoint in any way, shape, or form. It is easily the #1 album of the year, and it is easily always going to be a moment in my life where I listen to this album and I remember that time. This time of Laura just becoming Laura, which I don't think is the right statement. It's Laura becoming herself. And I'm not going to get too political about that whole statement, but I just want to say this album is terrific, and if you haven't listened to it, do it. It's only 10 songs, and they're all great. I mean, there are people I know who weren't Against Me fans who like this album. We're just saying a lot. And if you are Against Me fan, it's great, and it doesn't sound like their old stuff, and that's fine. That's good in my opinion. You're not supposed to make the same record multiple times, and I love it, and I'm glad that they continue to tour, and I'm glad that the bleak future of this band and how a lot of people said, oh, they suck now, they sold out, blah blah blah, and how everything seemed to turn for the better. And I think that they're a better, happier band on stage than they've ever been, especially Laura. And that's my review. That's my opinion, and I hope you agree, and I hope you liked my list. We're done. So that's the top 10 albums of the year. And again, if you didn't see something you think should be on here, please put it in the comments down below, and I'll definitely look into it. And I'm sure this list will never stay the same because I can never just agree, but where everything should go, and I like this album more than this one week, and the point is all these albums are great. You should go listen to every single one of them, and I'm going to try and do more reviews. Happy New Year, everybody. Merry Christmas from Milo and me, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Army of Bulldogs Productions. Please subscribe, please like the video, please comment something positive, please, and be on the lookout for more videos in the future. Thank you. Have a good day.